Hi, Cookie. Thanks for joining me, friend.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you.
Yeah.
We've corresponded and been mutuals for some time, but this is our first time speaking on a Zoom call, or we haven't met in person yet. I hope to
hmm
one day, but
Yeah, I'd love to do Tai Chi with you someday. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I would love that as well.
Yeah.
And that brings up part of why I wanted to speak with you, which is our mutual interest in Tai Chi. And
Hmm.
I wanted to hear about your history with it and your practice of it and your teaching of it. And of course, we'll dive into some other stuff as well. But
hmm.
yeah, I'd love to start off just by having you introduce yourself and share a bit about your background and your history and really your life story. And for me, this really helps me to understand who someone is and where they're coming from. And to me, everyone is fascinating. Like everyone has lived a life that is unique and special. And I want to hear about that. And that really helps me connect the dots between the things people are interested in and how they got to be interested in what they're interested in and why they care about the things they care about. Because usually there's specific things like Tai Chi in our case that I want to
Hmm.
talk to you about, but just knowing who you are and where you come from and your life story really helps me almost frame that. So, yeah, anything you'd love to share about your life story. And I do realize it's a big question, but
Yeah.
really just take it however you like it and feel free to share whatever you like.
Oh, well, where do we begin, I guess? I guess I was born in Ireland, and since my parents were immigrants from Malaysia and Hong Kong, and back then when I grew up, there wasn't actually that many Asian people there, but it was fine. I had quite a normal childhood. Um, and I guess, yeah, I went to college for computer science. I actually didn't really like computer science that much. The reason I chose computer science was because I was on the computer a lot. I loved playing video games, and I thought, oh, if I like the computer, maybe I'll like computer science. I didn't really. But I got through the course, and funny enough, I got through the course, and then I got a computer job. So I was like, oh, this is like a recipe for disaster. But I thought like I'd quit after a year or two, but it took maybe 7 or 8 years. So I spent 7 or 8 years roughly doing a tech job. And while I was doing the tech job, I was really into yoga. Um, really into yoga, and I did like a teacher training for yoga and just super into it through meditation. And I've always been active throughout my life. So I always did like sports, like it was a big thing in Irish schools anyway, where they had like physical education and stuff. Well, they have that in every school, but the school I went to, they did it for a few hours every Friday. So it was maybe a bit more than regular schools. But yeah, I grew up quite active. And then I think how I got into yoga, I was just in the gym, like lifting a lot. I was very stiff through all the lifting. And there was yoga classes in the gym, of course. And I just decided to go with some friends. And I was really into it, like not just the stretching side, because the lady we were doing it with did like a little meditation, some pranayama, some like breath work, and really got into it. And I decided to do like a lot of yoga, and I was really into it for a while. But like my teacher, he traveled a lot, so I actually didn't see him quite a bit, which brought me to Tai Chi basically. So like one day I was just chilling at home, and a brochure came through the post, and it was advertising like different courses for a night school. So they had like art classes, guitar, pottery, all kinds of stuff, and there was Tai Chi there. And I looked at it and I was like, I've heard Tai Chi's somewhat similar to yoga. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. So I signed up. It was a 10-week course. And yeah, I went to my first class. I actually did not like it, funny enough. I went to my second class. I wasn't really into it. And then third class still wasn't really into it. But I stuck to it because like it was a 10-week course, and I'm like, look, I'll give it 10 weeks. And if I really don't like it, I could say I've tried Tai Chi and it's not for me. But I think the fourth or fifth class, like I felt something because in each of these classes we did a kind of standing meditation, some qigong. You might be familiar with the Jan Zhuang. So we did that every class, like not that long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But I felt like my hands were like really tingling, and like my whole body was like shaking. And I'm like, that's really interesting. That's never happened before. So I asked the teacher, well, like what was happening, and he told me it was my chi. And I'm like, chi, is chi real? And then he's like, well, of course it is. And of course he's a Tai Chi teacher, so he was going to say that. And I was like, well, I was into yoga, so I believed on in the, prana and stuff. So I was like, well, chi's probably real, prana's real. So yeah, I got like I was more interested in Tai Chi, so I finished the course. And then after that, the teacher invited me to like his little class. It was every Thursday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., 2 hours. And I did that for about a year and a half. And like throughout the time there, like I was into it, but I was like not super into it. And what's it called? I asked the teacher, like, I think a year in, like, do you have any other classes? Because like I'd like to do this more than once a week because I was just doing it once a week. I met up with one person in the class actually, and we used to do it during the weekends, and that was nice. But yeah, I just asked him if there's any more classes, and he said, unfortunately, there isn't. There's not enough people for another class. And he said, if you're super serious about Tai Chi, you should move to London because that's where my teacher was from. So my teacher's teacher lived in London. So it's funny that he said London and not China, the place where Tai Chi came from. He's like, yeah, move to London. There's like a great master there. He taught me because my teacher in Ireland, he studied under my teacher now for about 30 years. So he was a very good teacher. He was very sensitive, like in terms of Tai Chi touch. And he said, yeah, if you're super serious, go move to London. And I think he said that as a joke, but I actually did it. So here I am. So that happened. Like I moved officially about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And I've been doing Tai Chi here ever since. Do it every day. And I started teaching not so long ago, last summer. So yeah, so what's McCall? Yeah, it's great.
Thanks for sharing your story. Can you tell me what it was like growing up in Ireland? Where did you grow up, and do you have any memories that you could share or specific details?
Yeah, I grew up in Waterford, Ireland, which people may not be familiar with. Like everyone knows Dublin. Waterford is next to Cork, and Cork is the second most populous city in Ireland. So Waterford was quite small, about 100,000 people, and yeah, it was all right. Like the kids were like mostly white, but that was cool. And like I got bullied a bit for being different. Um, but it wasn't actually because of like my race or anything. It was just mostly because I was a bit odd sometimes. But once I kind of got along with them, played football with them, stuff like that, they kind of accepted me. So it was actually fine. Yeah, I had a good childhood. Um, I had to do extra English classes though because they thought I couldn't speak English properly. But and I kept going actually because they gave me a lot of jellies and sweets and stuff. And I was like, okay, like every kid likes sweets and stuff. So they'd give me like a handful of sweets every time I went. But it was like really easy stuff like spell cat, spell dog, and stuff like that. I went with my other Asian friend, and he actually did need the classes, so it was fine accompanying him and stuff. But yeah, the teacher gave me like books to read, so I got really into reading through that.
Hmm.
So,
What brought your parents to Ireland?
just for better opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted uh, to find work and just make money, I guess, support
Mm-hmm.
a family. Um, yeah, and they did really well. They what's it called? They worked in um, takeaways and restaurants, like Chinese takeaways and restaurants, which is very common. Immigrant story, and then my mom and dad like they opened up their own restaurant takeaway, and they got really successful, and they retired early. So
Hmm.
it was yeah, it was good.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah, I have one younger brother, one older sister, so I'm the
Hmm.
middle child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you were obsessive about before Tai Chi?
Yeah, so I get obsessive about a lot of things, I guess. So I was really into Rubik's cubes when I was, let's say, between 14 for a few years, a couple of years, 14 to 17 maybe. So I was really into Rubik's cubes. I get really into video games as well, which is why I can't really play them because if I play a video game, I just play it like all the time. All my spare time went into video games. So I kind of hyperfixate on stuff. So I try not to play video games unless I'm with like a friend or something. I think playing with another person is completely fine. I can't get addicted there. But if I play by myself, then it's kind of all I do, which is what uh, I don't really want to do that. So yeah, and then after that, I guess I was really into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a while, which is like a martial art. It's like a grappling martial art. Um, but I stopped doing that because of injuries. So yeah, there's like stuff I do get really, really into, and then kind of stop doing. But yeah,
What did you like about Rubik's cubes when you were really into them?
just like it was fun, just finding ways of solving it faster and faster. So there's like you have to learn algorithms to kind of solve the cube, and you have to like look at it and like identify which algorithm you need to do very quickly. And then it's also like a dexterity thing, like the faster you can move your fingers, the faster you can solve the cube. Like you always timed yourself, try to get better and better. And back when I did it, it wasn't super popular. I know it's like way more popular now. Like there's competitions like everywhere, even I think close to my hometown. Like back then, like when I did it, there was no competition. I think there might have been one competition in the capital, but I couldn't find like meetup groups or anything like that. Maybe I would have been more into it if I found other people to do it with. But yeah, it was just the kind of nature of doing it faster and faster and seeing yourself improve. And there's like different ways you could do it as well, like one-handed, blindfolded, and there's bigger Rubik's cubes. So it's not just like the three by three that everyone knows about. It goes like four by four, five by five, like even bigger ones. I didn't get really into the bigger ones, but I did one-handed and blindfolded for a bit, and I thought that was really fun.
With blindfolded, I would assume you have to see it when you start and then you cover your eyes. Is that it?
Yeah. So how
Okay,
that works is they give you time to inspect the cube, but this counts as your solve time. So
I see.
the faster you inspect it and close your eyes and then solve it, because it's all included.
Hmm.
Like there's a cube and there's a box over the cube, so you can't see it. And as soon as they take the box away, your time starts there. So
Hmm.
it's combining the kind of memorizing the cube and then like moving the cube.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Did you have a favorite way to solve it, either blindfolded or one-handed or just the normal way? Like, was one of those your specialty or your preference?
I think just like normal two-handed three by three. That was what I was most into.
Hmm.
And then I got into blindfolded for a bit because it was fun making little stories on how to solve it. Because it's actually not too difficult. If you can solve a Rubik's Cube with your eyes open, you could solve it blindfolded because the amount of stuff you need to remember isn't actually that much. It's
Hmm.
about 20 letters, but then the letters can be combined. So it's actually 10 words. So if you combine two letters, it makes a word. So it's like 10 words, and 10 words might seem like a lot for some people, but you can make up a story for the 10 words as well, like a little mnemonic story or whatever, and it's not too bad. Yeah.
Which came first, jujitsu or yoga?
Um, I think that's a good question, actually. I think they kind of happened at the same time, now that I think about it. And it was very good because if you're a little flexible for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's a lot better because sometimes you get into really awkward situations since you're like on the floor and then there's a person on you and then your leg might be stuck in a weird way or something like that. So if you're like a little more flexible, it prevents injuries and stuff.
Hmm.
And I actually did some yoga classes for my jiu-jitsu school. And it was a lot of fun. Like people came and I was teaching them yoga in our jiu-jitsu school.
What did you like about each of those movement modalities?
Um, I guess for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was kind of like a puzzle. So there's like movement and there's like ways of doing things. Like if someone did something, you'd have to adapt and do something else. And if something didn't work, like some people would try brute force do it, but I think most people realize you can't just like brute force do stuff. You have to find another way. And it was really fun. It was like kind of play fighting. And like I was into it, but like it was a bit rough at times. You know, some people didn't know that like I don't know. I never had the killer instinct, is what people kind of called it. You kind of needed to have the intention of doing something, but like not seriously injure someone as well, because like serious injuries do happen in it. I was always a bit too playful, I think, and which I think is fine. It depends on what gym like you go to. Um, and as for yoga, I kind of liked how it wasn't just like movement. There's like other um stuff happening, like the breath work and the meditation, and then stuff like that. I think it was just from the first teacher. She wasn't just like do the movements and that's it. Like she kind of incorporated a bunch of different elements of yoga. So yeah. Mm.
And in the early stages, when you were bored by Tai Chi, do you remember what that was like when you didn't like it very much?
Well, I think the reason I didn't really like it was because we there was about 20 people in the class, so it was quite a full class, and the people there were very slow moving, and they, which is funny because Tai Chi is slow moving, but we were learning the form, and we would learn a few movements of the form, and then the next class we'd have to do it again, and the next class we'd have to do it again. So we never moved on for like a couple of weeks because no one would remember it. And I remember I was doing it, and I was like, I remember it. Like I wasn't practicing that much, but I was like, if I can remember it, they can remember it. But obviously, like I was a lot younger than them, so and yeah, so I was like I like learning the form, but I just didn't like repeating the same thing over and over again. And funny enough, like this is what I'm doing right now. Like I've learned to love it, to just keep doing the same thing over and over again. So maybe it was like a little lesson back then that it was meant to be.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Hmm. And you started to notice Chi, and you're curious about that. Like, what helped you to fall in love with Tai Chi and really decide that you wanted to do it more often?
So it was kind of like yoga on the inside. On the outside, they look completely different, but on the inside, I was like, okay, it feels kind of like similar. And I guess I really liked my first teacher. He was very humorous Irish man. It's like you could meet him at a pub and he'd be telling you funny stories. But he made it fun and he was extremely sensitive. So whatever you did, he could feel it. And it was really interesting in like the slightest motions I'd do, he'd be able to almost sense it. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. So I got a lot from my first teacher. And I think I've learned like since I started teaching, I try to make my classes like humorous and like enjoyable to go to because I feel like that's like one of the main things about Tai Chi, that it should be enjoyable and fun to do as well as like be good for you. Because like
Mm-hmm.
what's the point in I guess you could do it for just health benefits, but I feel like if you make it like fun and enjoyable, people are more likely to go. Um, and there's like I know Tai Chi's not for everyone, and if like you don't like Tai Chi, that's completely fine. Like there's always some kind of physical exercise or movement practice that's suited for everyone. Like there's so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what happened when you moved to London? Like, how did training with your new teacher start to work? And tell me about that, the move and your Tai Chi training in London.
Yeah. So I wasn't like I knew I wanted to go to London, but it wasn't set in stone until because I traveled for like I quit my job maybe in the middle of 2024. So I was working in IT for a number of years, and I went traveling for I think about 6 months. I was in Brazil, parts of Europe. I visited Amazon jungle, which was nice. So yeah, I was kind of there, and I was just thinking of what should I do, and I was like I really like Tai Chi, so why don't I try do like a few months in London to see if I really like it and see what happens. So I moved there like 6 months after I quit my job, and I they had classes basically every day, um, and I just went to every single class. I think it was 6 or 7 classes a week, which was an insane amount of Tai Chi to do when you first started. But I was really into it and I loved it. And it was good. Like the people saw I was enthusiastic and I was basically the youngest person there. Because Tai Chi's like the demographic is a bit older. Um, but it was still nice. Like I had a really good time. Like I talked to the older people and we became friends. And yeah, I learned like all the different teachers had like a different way of explaining things and doing things, and um, yeah, it was really good. And actually, a funny story, like my main teacher, my Sifu, so the teacher, like the main teacher of the school, like the first time I met him, I looked into his eyes and I swore they like shined blue. And he's like a Han Chinese man. And I was thinking, there's no way his eyes are blue. Like that doesn't even make any sense. And I was like always afraid to ask anyone because I didn't want to sound super crazy or whatever. But I have asked people since, and then I think one other person said he saw it, and then everyone else is like, no, his eyes are brown. And I'm like, okay. But I swear I still see it. I still see it to this day. It's not every day, but sometimes like most of the time I do see it,
Hmm.
which is really funny.
Hmm. What do you make of that?
I don't know. Like I guess it's his like his intention, his Shen, his spirit. And maybe like there's like a connection there that I was supposed to see something because like it was the very first day I was like, that's interesting. And he's like a humorous man. He's very funny and a great teacher, of course. And yeah, maybe we're connected in some way, and it was just meant to be.
Hmm.
Because my sister actually tried Tai Chi for a bit as well because she lived in London, and yeah, and my Sifu was teaching her for that class, and she's like, "Yeah, he's a very nice man," and I'm like, "Yeah, he's cool."
What was motivating you to do Tai Chi 6 or 7 times a week?
I think at that stage, I just needed something to, because like I hyperfixate on things, and it was just something I was hyperfixating on, and I knew the more you did, the better you get at it. But I didn't really realize that it's a slow art as well, so it takes time. Even though you're doing a lot, it doesn't mean you'll improve, but it still takes time no matter how much you do it. And I was just really enjoying myself as well. There was like I just went to class and I was just having a really good time.
What did you like about it?
I guess like I was really into learning the form at the start, so I've always liked learning like movement patterns, and then the partner work is where I really got into it. So in Tai Chi, you like how do you know if a Tai Chi posture is correct? You have to test it, and I was being tested by like loads of people. So you get better and better the more people you work with because people test differently. They'll push differently, and they just have different energy. And yeah, I was just like really, I really wanted to get it right, like all of the positions like perfect. And of course, like I learned that there's no real perfect, like there's right, but then there's like levels of right. And I was just always striving to get better and better. Um, and it just didn't feel like it just felt fun. So I just kept going.
Were there any moments of like victory or accomplishment where you're like, ooh, like I've all this hard work is paying off. Like I was really proud of this or that kind of thing.
Yeah, so my main teachers, famously, they never give out compliments. Like they'll never say, well, sometimes they might say good. That's it. They'll say good, but it's kind of like a general thing. They'd never say like, "Oh, really good job, well done," like this was perfect. They'll never say anything like that. It's just kind of like a little nod. Because I guess they know what it's like because like the amount of training they must have done. But yeah, so they never give out compliments, but there's an advanced class that happens every Friday, and like I knew that I couldn't just like go into advanced class that quickly, like no matter how many classes I went to. But when I was invited to the advanced class, I realized, okay, I'm making progress. Because they don't invite like everyone, they only invite people that are like really dedicated to doing Tai Chi. And so my reward for doing a lot of Tai Chi is more Tai Chi, basically. Because the classes, it's almost 4 hours long. So it's a long class. And my Friday evenings are always gone because of the 4 hour class. So I
Hmm.
think when I got invited, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is an accomplishment because there's no
Hmm.
belt system in Tai Chi. There's no, yeah, there's none of that. So it's kind of like, how do you know you're progressing? You don't really. I
Hmm.
guess like your peers can tell you like, oh, you're doing better, but it's hard to judge by yourself.
What kind of changes do you notice it having on your body or the way you move through the world or the way you go about things? What kind of changes or impacts has it had on you?
Physical changes or mental changes or both?
Any kind.
Oh, there's so many cha like I've written about it quite a bit since people like to hear about the changes that happen in your body. I guess my feet feel more connected to the ground. And like sometimes like a lot of the times these days it just feels really pleasurable to walk, which is I don't know if that's silly to say, but it just feels like I'm very rooted into the ground, which is a good sign. So like whenever I'm on the tube or a train or something, I just kind of stand there without holding on to anything. At first, I was a bit nervous that I'd fall into someone, but now like I don't really worry about it. I just kind of stand there, and I think of it as practice myself. I'm like, okay, I'm practicing standing really still, rooting myself in this moving train. So yeah, so the feet definitely feel a lot stronger and more balanced and just stable. So and then I guess more relaxed. So Tai Chi, like it's just relaxing all the time. Like you have to, the more you relax, the more you sink into the floor, and the more sunk into the floor, the more stable you are. So like I'm always practicing relaxation, which is so yeah, I think that makes me feel more upbeat and well, I've always been quite optimistic, I guess. So yeah, so the relaxation, I'm sure it does something. For other benefits, I guess my hands are really warm like all the time. I feel like it's my chi. It's just like always radiating out. Um, like sickness, I don't really get sick that often. Um, what else? Just yeah, like I have a big I usually try to write down like all the changes that are happening in my body, but like after a while, like once it's changed and like it just becomes normal. Like I don't even think about like, oh, that's not something someone experiences all the time. But like for me, it's just kind of there, and it's like if there's a painting in your home and you walk past it every day, you kind of just stop looking at it, and it
Hmm.
just doesn't even register. It's just a wall to you.
Hmm.
So yeah. But people are always asking like for benefits and stuff, and I'm like, give it a go, because there are some like regular benefits everyone gets, like better balance, coordination, and there are like studies on falls and stuff like that. Um, but I think there's other benefits where it depends on the person actually, because I have a friend that like is really into energy work, and he says like he's seeing people's energy now, and I'm like, I can't do that. But that's like a really interesting thing to see, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Has it changed your sense of who you are or of reality or what the universe is?
Huh. Has it changed? I guess so. Yeah. Um, like I walk around and I just kind of feel like you could do Tai Chi wherever you go. Like even you're walking, like there's a way to Tai Chi walk almost. Um, like you wouldn't have your shoulders up, like your shoulders are down, your tailbone is tucked under, and you're just walking and like shifting your weight from one foot to the other. It kind of affects like everything I do at this stage. So in that way, like I try to move with more, I don't know, purpose or intention. Because like I'm just always doing Tai Chi. So I'm like, okay, how can I do Tai Chi when I'm not even doing Tai Chi? And that's like how I do it. And then for other stuff, hmm, I guess I've been recently, every time I close my eyes, I start seeing shapes and stuff, which is like really interesting. I try not to distract myself with it, but it's just something I've noted. Um, but other changes, huh. I like I like doing Tai Chi like near trees. I think the trees are like really good to do Tai Chi under or like Jang training. Um, but I've always been kind of into trees, so I don't know if that one counts. Sorry, what was the question again?
Has it changed your sense of who you are or what the world is or what the universe is?
Yeah, I think so. I think it has. Or maybe it's made myself more of who I really am, maybe. Because it almost feels like I was supposed to do like this is how it was supposed to go,
Hmm. Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What motivated you to want to teach?
So I taught yoga part-time for um a couple of times a week when I was working my tech job. And I've always liked like teaching people because I've taught uh I thought it was a good way of learning and also just like a way of sharing like what I know. Um So like once I taught yoga, I was like, okay, well, why can't I t teach Tai Chi after a bit? Well, actually, you know what? I wasn't even thinking of teaching Tai Chi until my teachers told me like, hey, maybe you should teach Tai Chi. And I'm like, oh, I can do that because usually you have to get the permission of the teacher to start teaching. And once he said that, I was like, okay, yeah, I could do that. I could teach Tai Chi. And yeah, it's just like some people ask really interesting questions. And like some things I haven't thought about and some things I thought about a lot later. And it's always great to see like Tai Chi in like the fresh eyes of a beginner, since I think I have a lot to learn. Like they learn from me, but I feel like I learn a lot from them as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
What's it been like teaching?
Oh, it's been fun. So like I only started off with one class a week for I think 3 months or so. But then it rapidly blew up. Like I got more and more classes. Like right now, I think next week I have to do 11 classes. Like a bunch, I think 3 or 4 in the gym, one in Chinatown, 3 private lessons. Yeah, just like all over London, basically. So at one point I was just sending emails. I was calling people like everywhere, like at first nearby, and then just anywhere I was willing to travel. I was just sending them stuff, and of course, most of them didn't get back to me, and some of them got back to me a couple of months later, and I'm like, oh God, I'm actually kind of busy now. And I had to turn some down. I'm like, which is crazy because at the start I was like, okay, I'll just do any kind of Tai Chi anywhere and yeah, it just kind of blew up. Um, and yeah, I've had a lot of fun doing it. Like I did one today because I was trying to keep weekends free, but the gym was like really insistent. You're like, okay, it's like really popular here. People really want to do it. Like, will you do Saturdays? I'm like, okay, I'll do Saturdays. So I teach there every Saturday, Tuesday and Saturday now. Um, and it's always full, which is I think Tai Chi's there's like a new like interest in the gyms anyway. There's it's always full.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Didn't expect that, but I'm happy to hear it. Hmm. How old are you now?
I'm 30 years old.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, if we assume, God willing, that you live as long as you'd like to, 90 years or something,
yeah.
uh, what would you like to see happen in the rest of your life? Like, if your life went incredibly well, what would you hope and pray for?
Huh. I have thought about this, and it's kind of like I'm already doing what I want to be doing, which is teach Tai Chi. I just hope I could do it as long as I can. Like I do have one dream. It's a bit silly. Well, I don't know if it's silly, but it's kind of something that you shouldn't say out loud, um, or else it might not come true, or it's just bad luck too. But I think anyone that talks to me probably realizes what it is, at some point. But even if I achieved the dream, it's kind of like you're already doing it. Like this is it. Like even if you achieve it, you're doing it. Like you're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of happy with that in that regard. So it's kind of like something I strive for, but it doesn't actually even matter if I get it or not. Um, but yeah, other than that, not really, I guess. I'm just kind of yeah.
Hmm. How would you hope to grow and deepen in your Tai Chi practice in the coming years?
So right now I'm working like structurally. Um, So the school I go to, there's two main branches. So the first branch is the older branch. It is like I actually don't know how old it is, but I'm gonna say like it looks like like it's from this a kung fu set, like a kung fu movie, like maybe 70s or 80s. Like think of an old dojo, like an old Chinese dojo. Like this is what this place looks like. The floor is like they didn't even I don't know what they did to the floor, but like it's just paint. I think they just splashed paint on it and like okay, there, it's a floor. And then like there's old black and white photos just framed everywhere and like weapons mounted on the wall. So it's like really atmospheric, like yes, martial arts. And then the other branch looks like it's a lot newer. I think it was only open maybe 20 years ago. It it could pass as a yoga studio. Like it looks nice, but in like a different regard. Um, so like these two branches, like the people there are different. So, because they were taught differently, because my teacher, he taught differently because he's been changing as well. His Tai Chi has been changing. So the older people, they were more structurally strong and a bit harder. So like they're very good, of course, but they kind of lack the softness of the new branch. And then the new branch, their problem is they're too soft and they're structurally unsound. Um, so it's kind of funny that like one side is too hard, one side's too soft, and if you manage to somehow like blend them together, like they'd be perfect. Which is why I train in both centers actually. So I try like blend the hardness and softness. But I think right now I'm a bit too soft as well, which is why I'm trying to work structurally on my Tai Chi.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So in that regard, that's what I'm trying to do in my Tai Chi. And then with the teaching, I'm just trying to get like just be clearer and I guess I don't know, sometimes I feel like I might talk too much and overwhelm the person. So maybe just like because I've realized some of my teachers actually don't say much. They kind of just let me do the thing. And if I'm like completely wrong, yeah, they'll say something, but they kind of just let me try to discover Tai Chi by myself, which is something I'm trying to incorporate as well. But I think right now I do a good first class. Like people are at least entertained or they learn something. Sometimes they don't come back, which is fine. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's just what I'm working on.
Hmm. Do you see yourself learning any new movement forms or any obsessions you might see yourself getting into in the future?
Uh, Probably. I'll say like I wouldn't shut it down. Like
Hmm.
right now I'm doing like all I'm doing is basically Tai Chi.
Hmm.
But I'd be down to try other stuff. It's just finding the time. Like I could make the time if I really tried, but um. Yeah, right now, yeah, I'm not sure. Would you
Tai Chi is the
recommend?
main thing.
Yeah, Tai Chi's the main thing right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Which like I'm completely like I'm so happy with. But
Hmm.
yeah, maybe dancing. I think dancing would be an interesting one, like some
Hmm.
form of dance.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for answering all of my questions about Tai Chi and about your life. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about or dive more deeply into?
Um, about me or Tai Chi or
You, Tai Chi, anything at all? The world,
oh, okay.
the
The world.
future.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen those Tai Chi ads on like on YouTube or just social media or in
I don't think
general?
I have.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
The AI ones with the like the six pack grandpas?
No.
Oh, it's become a running joke in our Tai Chi schools, like
Hmm.
because everyone sees them and they're like because Tai Chi won't give you a six pack, of course. So the advertisements are blatantly false.
Uh huh.
But apparently like it's still good advertising. People
Hmm.
are like calling up schools and like the people in my school like asking about Tai Chi and
Hmm.
there's like this thing called Tai Chi walking,
Hmm.
which is made up, of course, but it's like it's shown in these AI ads and people are asking, well, people have even asked me like, can you show me Tai Chi walking? And I'm like, yeah, I can show you Tai Chi walking. It's it's called the form. Let's go learn it. Let's go learn it. Yeah. So Yeah, I guess there is a Tai Chi walking, but the way they're describing it, I don't think there's a Tai Chi walking. So the advertisements are like good and bad. I find them really funny, to be
Hmm.
honest.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll send you some. I
I'd
saved
love to
a
see
bunch of
those.
them. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They're great. Yeah.
that's funny.
They're just so
That's funny.
silly that you look at it and you're like, this is so ridiculous, but it's also like, yeah, it just
Hmm.
makes me kind of happy when I see them, even though
Hmm.
it's kind of like false advertising. Like you're not getting a six pack from doing Tai Chi. Like you
Hmm.
get a six pack from like diet and going to the gym, I guess.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I never really needed advertisements, I suppose, to get into it,
Yeah.
but it did take a while and a weird
Yeah.
circuitous path. So, yeah.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, the funny thing is like you wouldn't equate Tai Chi with six packs is another thing, right? You wouldn't say like, oh, I want to do Tai Chi to get a six pack. It just
Right.
feels like it's not like, you know, right?
I'm actually on my way to a six pack, but it's from strength training,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
not from Tai Chi for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, could I ask you about Tai Chi?
of course,
Yeah, so you do Sun style, right?
I do. It's been a little while, like maybe
Hmm.
a few weeks since I've done it, but I'm not nearly as diligent or consistent as you are. But yeah, I've been doing student style since I guess since 2021, so nearly 5 years
Okay.
off and on now. It's
Yeah.
been a lot of off, but some periods of quite intense work on it. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get into it?
Well, I did a lot of meditation, and then I started doing standing practice. And I met my teacher. I have two Tai Chi teachers, kind of similar to you actually. I have like the teacher that first taught me, and then my like sifu sort of. I don't call him my
Hmm.
sifu, but um, and I met my senior teacher first, but then his student is the one that taught me Tai Chi. I had him on my podcast 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Stanwood, and then my other teacher is Tom. And yeah, I met Tom maybe almost a decade ago at this point, like 8 years ago, and uh, we were just that's a whole story in itself. But we were just friends at first, and then I started doing some qigong with him, and he and some other people encouraged me to do some standing meditation, so I was doing that, and then um, I basically noticed that I liked the standing meditation more than the seated meditation at that point, and I had done a lot of seated practice and
Hmm.
kind of hit a wall with how much patience I had for that at that time, and uh, but I was really enjoying doing the standing practice, and I was like, oh, maybe I should get into qigong or tai chi, and then I took both classes in both from Stanwood and learned the form, and yeah, just really fell in love with it when I started doing it. I loved learning the form, and I didn't really have to force myself to do it in the way I was finding that I was having to force myself to meditate a lot of the times, and it just felt good in my body as opposed to sort of like tight and tense, and um, yeah, and then it really opened some things up in practice, and um, I enjoy it very much. These days, I'm not as consistent as I might like to be. I think I would if I was either near Stanwood or Tom or some other Tai Chi classes or had friends that did Tai Chi, then I would do it more often. But I really benefit from some kind of relational context for
Hmm.
really any kind of learning, but especially to people to practice with. And I don't
Hmm.
know anyone where I am right now that practices Tai Chi, and I'm hoping to move to Brooklyn later this year, so I suspect I'll be able
Hmm.
to find friends there that are into it. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in it for the long haul, but I'm sort of like on vacation right now, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I go through cycles of being obsessed with things, and
Ah.
it's a little bit less like this is the only thing for 5 years, and more like
Hmm.
this is one of many things. But I sort of juggle different interests, and
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So do you still are you doing like your standing meditation still, or is it?
No, I haven't done. I don't know. I do sometimes. Like sometimes my body will just want to, and I do then. But I think because I was at this monastery for like 5 years basically, and that was really good for me for a time. But I just did so much like structured stuff for so long, where like I had to meditate at certain times and had to do certain
Yeah.
things at certain times. That I'm a little bit allergic to that now. Like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
it's a bit of a problem, but like I don't know. I really enjoy just having my life be flowing and like
Yeah.
sometimes I do this and sometimes I do that, and I don't know. It's not great for consistency of practice with certain things, but
Hmm.
uh, you know, I suspect I'll come around to it, and yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. Soon style is kind of a weird style to learn first, though, because it has elements of Bagua and Shingi in it, and
Yeah. I heard because the founder was a master of all three, right?
yes, and he learned Tai
Yeah,
Chi
yeah.
last when he was also like 40. He had already mastered Shingi and Bagua,
Oh,
and then someone else taught him Tai Chi, and he was like, I guess I'll
yeah.
make a Tai Chi form that includes these. And uh,
Yeah.
but I think, well, the way I see it, like for me, reincarnation is very much part of this, and I just it seems if that's true, then it seems very clear I have karmic
Mm.
connections to that lineage, and
Oh.
uh, it's just I like met Tom, and it
Mm.
was just there was this like kind of magnetic pull to learning it, and I don't know, I didn't find it as, I imagine it would be difficult for some people to learn Soon style as a first
Mm.
one. Like I think there are simpler ones probably, but it just kind of made sense to me. And I really like it. It feels so good, and
Mm.
I feel like it gets me a lot of the benefits that I was getting from like a good meditation session, but in a way that doesn't make my body uncomfortable or tense or like strained. Like ideally, sitting meditation feels the same way, but I think that's especially because I use the computer all the time, and
Mm.
it's like easier said than done. So, but Tai Chi just feels amazing, and it's very flowy, and it's
Mm.
it's nice. It's spring here now. I like to do it outside, and
Mm.
uh, do it in the sun, preferably, and yeah, near trees. And it's just such a beautiful way to enjoy having a body.
Yeah, it's getting sunny in London as well, like
Mm-hmm.
recently enough. And I always tell my students, I'm like, it's getting sunny out there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's your time to go out into the parks and do Tai Chi outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's motivating them or kind of scaring them away, but I like saying it because like I'm going to be doing it
Mm-hmm.
next month, I'll say, but when it's a lot nicer. Well, I'm doing it now when it's sunny.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was kind of rare because we just went through winter, I guess. But yeah, spring is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's my favorite way to do it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
um, I feel like once you do it outside, you kind of get the idea, like, oh, this is really nice. Like I'd rather do it outside. If I always would prefer to practice outside if I can. So
Yeah, because like I had some students, and it was winter time, and I hadn't seen them in a while, and I kind of just texted them like, "Hey, like, it's cool if you don't want to come back, but like, Tai Chi's still around if you want to come back." And
mm-hmm.
a few of them didn't reply, but then a few of them said, "Can you text me back when it's spring,
Mm-hmm.
so we can do it outside?" Like, because I guess they're hibernating during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, I think it's almost a universal thing. Most people like doing it outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm most motivated to do it in spring and summer, or maybe early
Mm-hmm.
fall,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then typically in winter I'm like,
Yeah.
ideally I
Yeah.
would practice every day no matter what. And
Mm,
I've been really inspired by how much you practice, and you've gotten quite deep quite quickly,
mm,
because and then partly just because of the many hours of practice you've done. And
mm.
um, I don't know, I think I have not been nearly as diligent so far, but I would like to work up to that at some point and just do hours
Mm.
of practice, and practice
Yeah.
every day for sure.
I mean, the hours fly by. I just kind of like look at my watch and then I look at it a few hours later and like, oh, it's already like a few hours gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, it's pretty funny. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I'm doing the form, it slows down and speeds up as well. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the time perception just kind of alters. It's a bit strange. Um, but yeah, it's you mentioned like doing it with friends and stuff. I think it is really good to do it with friends. Like so I have some Tai Chi buddies and there's no like formal class on Saturdays, but we kind of made our own class.
Mm-hmm.
So we are like, okay, every Saturday we're gonna meet up and do a bit of Tai Chi together. We wouldn't do the form or anything like that. We probably should, but we don't. We just kind of test each other and kind of just honestly, like a lot of the time we're just chatting as well, just banter. It's like the Chinese people that do Tai Chi in the parks all day. I think 90% of it is like chatting, 10%
Mm.
is Tai Chi because they're there all day. So I feel like they're not doing Tai Chi for the entire day, but
Mm.
they do a little Tai Chi, then chat, have tea, do a little Tai Chi. So I feel like this is almost kind of similar. We kind of do the same thing. I think we talk like more than,
Mm.
like less than 90% is what yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because we do some like good work for maybe 2 hours and then it kind of degenerates where we stop doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the silly stuff is as well. We're like, will this work? Will this work? And then it's kind of like, nope. And then we try like serious stuff. Yeah, we try the serious stuff at the start, and then it kind of degenerates into
Mm.
just like trying random stuff, which I
Mm.
think is fun as well. Yeah.
Mm. Well, I've been saying this since we've been mutuals, but next time
Mm.
I'm in London, I'm looking forward to doing Tai Chi with you. So,
Yeah, hit me up. It'll
mm.
be great.
Uh-huh.
I've
Uh-huh.
taught a few mutuals Tai Chi now. Like they've done a lesson or they came to class or
Mm-hmm.
they're still coming to class.
Mm.
It's great. Yeah.
Mm. 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 Is there anything else you'd like to share or talk more about?
Um, I guess like how I ended up knowing about you was through your book on
Mm.
meta meditation.
Mm.
And I remember I read it my first time camping, which
Oh,
I was quite like I wasn't that young. Um, but I wasn't, yeah, I was like it was like early 20s maybe. And I've never been camping before. And my first time camping, we went to a beach and I remember seeing your book and I was like, okay, I'm
I
going
don't
to
think
read
you
this
could
book.
have. If you're 30 now, then that's not
Yeah.
possible.
Oh,
Because I wrote my
wait,
book on meta 5 years ago now.
5 years ago. Okay. So maybe mid 20s, mid 20s.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So I remember, yeah, I read it a couple of years ago now. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that recent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember really liking it. And I was like,
Mm.
okay, I'm going to do meditation like every day. And I even
Uh-huh.
had I what's it called a journal on meditation. I'm like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I'm going to say today. And this is day one. And then I think I got to 6 months, I think. And then
Mm.
I stopped doing it for I think another meditation or something
Mm.
like that.
Mm.
But yeah, really enjoyed it. Really
Mm.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
I'm so glad. They're fun to
Yeah.
combine. It's fun to do meta
Yeah.
while doing Tai Chi. So,
What was the best way of combining meta and Tai Chi?
oh, any number of ways. But I mean, these days I mostly just keep love in my heart. Like I feel I bring up love in my heart and just try to maintain it. So once you learn how to do that, that's probably the best way to just keep love in your heart while you do it. But you could also like visualize sending love out of your arms, which I like to do, or you could just say loving things. I don't know, especially when you're learning something, it's also nice to do positive self talk and be like, I'm doing great. Like, I've got this. It's okay. It's fine. The patience, it's okay. Whatever. Um, but yeah, any number of ways you could do it.
Yeah. I'll try carry that when I'm teaching students because
Mm-hmm.
some of the older ones are a bit self-conscious about, they're like, oh, I might not be able to do it, or I'm a bit
Mm-hmm.
slow in learning stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
they have like a dodgy right knee or something like that. And yeah, I think I can incorporate it that way. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
always like supportive because like you can modify Tai Chi positions for anyone really. But yeah,
Hmm.
maybe
I
meta.
bet you're
Yeah.
very kind and very sweet to have as a teacher.
Yeah, well, I try to be super positive. I'm like, okay, guys, like I want to make this enjoyable because if it's enjoyable, they'll come back, and if they come
Mm-hmm.
back, they'll learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, yeah, it's just better this way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because I want to
Mm-hmm.
see them improve, and when I see them improve, it makes me very happy.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think there's a weird thing with Tai Chi where mm, it really takes time and weeks and months and years to see the benefits. And a lot of people, myself included, are kind of impatient and like, well, if I don't feel amazing after 5 minutes, then what's the point?
Mm,
But it's really worth learning. And I'm so glad that I've learned. And
mm,
um, these days, I think of it as kind of one of three food groups of my movement practice where I like to do strength training through bodyweight calisthenics, and I have a running regime that I do, like three different kinds of runs that I do over the week, and then yeah, ideally I'd be doing Tai Chi every day, I'm a little bit
Mm.
on hiatus right now, but I find that like each of those scratches a sort of itch for me that if I do all three, it's like I feel really good in my body. And if I did just one of those, I'd be like, well, that's good, of course, but it'd be kind of missing the other things. So yeah.
Wait, all three in one day or like
No, no,
spread
over
out?
the course of a week, like ideally 4 days of strength, 3 days of
Mm.
cardio, and 7 days of Tai Chi. Like
Oh,
doing Tai Chi
okay.
once, because when I practice, at least right now, I'm just doing it once a day for like
Mm.
going through the form, and it takes
Yeah, yeah.
15 minutes or so.
Yeah, do you think of Tai Chi as like the opposite of the gym? Because I've been telling my students this
Hmm.
because I feel like it's kind of because you need to relax instead
Hmm.
of like contract your muscles to like pick up a weight. And then
Hmm.
the more you relax, the more you sink down, and the more you sink down, the more force you can take when you're being posture tested.
Hmm.
So like yeah, I've been telling my students that, but is that something you actively think about? And maybe that's why it's kind of like part of the three exercises you do?
I wouldn't say it's the opposite of the gym. I could see why
Mm,
someone might say that, but for me, it's really about like whole body movement and whole body integration and moving with the breath and yeah, relaxation, but also like presence and mindfulness. And I don't know, I like to think of it as like kind of harmonizing the body mind. Or
mm,
one of the images I'll use actually is like it's like I'm a battery and I'm almost charging, yeah, my chi or my life force or like I don't know. This just because this inspires me and I'm weird, but like imagining that like I'm a wizard and this is what's charging my like mana as a wizard. It's like um, this is what's connecting me to the source of my magic, and um, that's a poetic, inspiring metaphor that works for me. But I think that's kind of true on a more literal level, where it connects you to your whole body and to your breathing and to coordination. And um, I notice that that has ripple effects on everything else. Like if I do Tai Chi, everything in my life goes better, and um, that's different than strength training or cardio, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's the opposite either. It's just like I don't know. It's like a healthy meal has protein and carbs and vegetables, and like you kind of need all three or whatever. And
mm.
I don't know. My nutrition is quite poor, like my understanding of nutrition, but you want a balanced meal that has these different components, and I
Yeah.
think if I just did one of those three things, it would be good. But like if you just did strength, for example, you'd be strong, but then you couldn't necessarily run if you needed to, or if you're just
Mm,
running, you wouldn't be able to lift something. And similarly,
mm,
I don't know. I think there's a failure mode with Tai Chi or Qigong or internal martial arts where you forget that it's like good to be able to lift things or run fast or like
mm,
use your body effectively in these very functional ways. And I kind of want to be not the best at any one of those three, but just
mm.
I want to be strong and have endurance more than speed, but also like endurance, and then uh, yeah, kind of like gracefully carry my body gracefully and move fluidly and smoothly, and have the integration of those three rather than being the strongest person or the fastest person or the longest running person or the best at Tai Chi. Like just a little bit of each of those together works really well for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably more normal than what I'm doing because I'm just kind of like I'm just doing like one thing. I'm like, okay, this is all I do now. So
I admire it. Plus, I bet you're
yeah.
in good shape anyway. I bet you're both strong and able to run if you need to.
Yeah, well, people like ask me if I hit the gym, and I'm like, I used to hit the gym quite a bit, but it's been roughly, I'm gonna say 2 years now since I went. Like, I go to the gym to teach class, but like, I haven't lifted weights for, I'm
Sure.
gonna say 2 years now. So I guess I've kept my body shape because
Mm-hmm.
I guess muscle memory or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah, Tai Chi's not known for like good body shape because everyone like, the chi belly, like you kind of have a round belly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is like the one pack, I guess. Yeah.
The
So
one bag.
yeah, like the one, yeah, because like they're always saying because they're looking at the six pack grandpa's AI advertisements. They're like, okay, you're
Uh-huh.
not gonna have a six pack, you'll get a
Yeah.
one pack, and it's just
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if you're looking for aesthetics, Tai Chi's not for you,
Mm.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, I like for strength. I like the body weight calisthenics because it's
Yeah.
not like making you as big as possible. It's not hypertrophy, but rather like just very functional strength. So
Yeah, 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 functional strength.
yeah, um, but That's the one that's easiest for me to do right now. I love running, but it was winter recently, and I also like running barefoot, and that's not always easy for me to find places to run barefoot. Um, but I don't know. And if I'm like, that's actually a really good. It occurs to me that's a really good proxy for like how I'm doing in my life. Is am I doing all three of those? Because if I'm doing strength training, if I'm running, and if I'm doing Tai Chi every day, like I'm probably doing very well in my life, and
Mm.
that motivates me to want to go do those more because I want to be happy in my life. And yeah.
Do you guys have those calisthenic gyms like outside? Because we have them here.
Mm. There are
Yeah.
some. There are some. They're not as well distributed as I would like, but there are some. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, once you learn things about calisthenics, you can kind of find anywhere to do pull ups or use bars or whatever you need. So,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did a bit of calisthenics because there was like one of those parks outside with like what's it called, pull-up bars and
Mm hmm.
different calisthenic machine type things.
Mm hmm.
And I just like doing it because I was outside. I was like, okay, this
Mm
is nice. You could exercise outside. And
hmm.
same with running. I did running for a good bit.
Mm hmm.
Because in Ireland I used to live near a lake and it was perfectly 1 kilometer all the way around.
Mm
So if you just kept running around it, like you'd like 1 kilometer,
hmm.
2 kilometers, 3 kilometers. So I'd usually run around it, I think 3 times. So I ran to it, which was about a kilometer, ran around it 3 times, 3 kilometers, and ran back. So that was
Wow.
like a
So you did a
perfect 5K.
5K. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Amazing.
was like, wow, very satisfying. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Huh.
yeah.
Love that. Love that. Mm. Well, I really have been very inspired by your practice, and I like that you write about your Tai Chi too, and you write threads about it, and you have
Oh
this
yeah.
new website for your classes that I think is quite good, and yeah, your practice and the way you share about your practice has really inspired me. So I've been grateful to meet you and to talk to you, and I'm very curious to see how your practice will evolve and your teaching will evolve, and what happens for the rest of your life. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some really lovely adventures in store for you. So I'll be curious to hear about them over the years.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely write. I love writing as well,
Mm,
especially about Tai Chi. So it's very it just kind of flows onto the page. I don't even have to like I edit it a little bit, but like not
mm-hmm,
that much to be honest.
mm-hmm.
Like I'd write it on the day, like maybe in the morning, and then by the evening, like I'll let it rest for like a couple hours. I'd read over it one more time, maybe change like one or two words, and like off it goes. Just post it.
It's a good way
Um,
to do it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for your time and for speaking with me, Cookie.
Yeah, this has been great.
Mm,
I had a great time.
me too.